All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. So the last time, we couldn't do this because there was something that needed to be reverted. I think that's done now. So I think that's possible to do without issue this time. Let me see where this is. Yeah, here's where we just added OpenGL text. And if I can check the repo. All right, and then this thing was reverted a little while ago. So I'm gonna try merging again. This is PR. And if I can find it, yeah, this, okay. So with that done, I'm gonna try just fetching this again. And let me check really quickly. Wait, this isn't the file I wanted. Wait, okay, so that's saved. Reset all of this. Over here. Look at this. Okay. Test writing some LaTeX. Perfect, that's just what I wanted. With that done, and just try that it works with text. That works too. I'll probably try something really simple with paragraph or markup text. Markup. Something like this. I'll just try something really small. Oh my gosh. We've done all of these with OpenGL, that with OpenGL. Okay, so these are all OpenGL text. Just go open to OpenGL V group. I'm gonna try writing that group. Yeah, let's make sure that works. Cool. Okay, so all the text stuff is working since I copied it over. Let me check that this is running my command. It is perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna try merging again. But since I'm bad at Git, I'm gonna copy the repo again. Because I'm just that bad at Git. Okay, fetch this again. I'm gonna merge master. And I expect this to break everything. All right, first things first, let's see if the example still works. It does, that's great. I'll try taking out the markup text, doing just regular text. I don't see why this wouldn't work. That works too. If I take out text for regular tech, this is all working great. So now, this is on top of Origin Master, and it's working with LaTeX. So I don't think there's too much more to do, except perhaps maybe I could add testing. I'm not sure how the testing for OpenGL works. I don't think I've seen it before. Hope you're doing well. Keep up the wonderful work. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm hopefully gonna be able to make Manim a lot better in the next few weeks and months. All right, so I think I'm gonna be able to make Manim a lot better in the next few weeks and months. All right, so I think one of these previous PRs allowed testing for OpenGL sanity checks. I wasn't even sure how it worked. Oh, here it is. Graphical unit test will check the OpenGL renderer flag. Okay. So this should have an example test. Probably. Get frame. It's got to be here. Circle test.npz. And there's this to test something. I just mark parameterize this. I think there's a pretty good chance that in the process of trying to add this test, I'm just going to break something. I think that's pretty likely. Let me go to the wiki, read through those instructions again. Luckily, there's already a commit made from when I merged, so I don't think it'd be terribly difficult to figure it out and roll it back if necessary. There's already a test module.py. Don't need to do this. That's fine. Set test scene. Okay, that's the one that I think I need. This file not found because I haven't created control data for your test to create someone's very simple. You basically want to use this thing. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to create the skeleton for the test. See if I can follow this step by step. So this would mean, let's go to the test OpenGL. Here. And you've got this. And look in the instructions, it says to write this, the mark.parameterize. And that if you run this, it won't work. Okay, so let me just make a new file. I can do test OpenGL text.py. I copy a lot of the same stuff. Manim OpenGL scenes to test graphical unit tester. I'm going to need the same stuff pretty much. And there's just a temp config to use the OpenGL renderer. You know, I should probably test if the tests all even pass right now. I guess PyTest wasn't even recognized. Unrecognized arguments --cov equals manim. From PyProject.toml? PyTest INI options. Well, I don't know what these extra flags do either. COV. All of our architecture is changing so often. I don't know if the coverage tests are documented. Let's see, let me I search for this? Nope. I check for my project Atomo. Let's see, let me... I search for this? Nope. I check for my project Atomo. Here. Blame it. This is all super new. Guess I have to install some more stuff? Include PyTestConf as a Python module. Pretty sure that's not installed yet. I think that should be no more complicated than poetry install. If the problem is just to add more dependencies. Doc test modules, ignore glob, conv append. All right, let's see if that helps at all. And it does, I think. Okay, I hadn't tried to test this since before I started the PR to add text. So I'm fairly surprised none of this is broken. But also glad of it, because if it was, that would probably be pretty annoying to fix. I'm glad it's pretty isolated. Okay, so testing text will probably end up doing a lot of the same stuff as this. Allow 1 over 255 RGB value differences with OpenGL tests. Because there are differences across platforms. Interesting. Okay, so I guess these all passed, which is great. And we get this nice coverage report, I guess, now. Statements miss. I wonder how this works. Like, what does the number of statements mean? I mean, I guess we got around 54%. Not too bad. Well, depending on what your goal is. Okay, I'm just going to copy this, rename this. And just call it text test. This will be an OpenGL text. Then I'll put Manim community here. Color red, sure, why not? And let me just call this text. Yeah, I can just self.add that and then self.wait. Okay, I think that's fair. Module name. Do I have to update that? I probably will. Well, possibly not. Like Graphscene, for example, has its name as plot. And that's shared with test axes. So maybe I can just leave that as OpenGL. So let's look. Scene to test, get scenes to test of double underscore name. That's fine. Indirect equals false. It's also fine. Okay, maybe I can just run this test. And this will certainly not work, but it should give me some insight into what to do next. It should give a file not found error. PyTest tests, test graphical units, and test OpenGL test. All right, so that's and test OpenGL test. All right, so that's the file not found error, which is expected. If I do just test OpenGL, that does work. Okay, so I think all I need to do at this point is generate that compressed data. If you're on PyTest, you should have an assertion arrow file not found. Use graphical unit test set test scene. Okay, let's try that. And I can't find it, so that's great. Helpers graphical units set test scene. Does it exist? Does even this helpers file exist? If you look in tests, tests helpers. Oh, it's within graphical units.py. So I have to go in here. I guess I've got to use this. Generate our control data. It'll look like this. Template generate graphical units data.py. So this, I guess I have to copy my test scene here. Then the module name, that's OpenGL. I'll definitely have to import some of the OpenGL objects and stuff. Your class test. I think this is just the name of it. Yeah, so I'll put text test here. And maybe now I can just run this file. But probably not. Tests template generate graphical. It didn't work. How did I get permission denied? Well, I guess it wouldn't have the executable bit. Can I put Python here? OpenGL SVG path object has no attribute points. Oh, I have to set that flag too. The use OpenGL data or whatever. I wonder if I can just say like here or something. Use OpenGL render equals true here. Probably not. No, I guess not. Well, I think as long as I don't know how to do this, I'm just not going to do it. I'll at least ask. Is it documented anywhere how to generate test data for OpenGL scenes? Not sure how to pass the flag. Is it this? So I'll just comment that. So I'll just comment that, and with that, I'm just going to submit this. And if people ask for tests, then hopefully they can say how to add them. All right, so now I just have to push this, I guess. So I'll push it to my repo. Great. And from there, I should be able to PR it. I think. Hopefully. If I know how Git works. Oh, is the... I think... my old fork might not work anymore because we unforked the repo. So let me see if this is gonna child up anymore. I think it would. Oh, this is forked from 3B1B Manim. So I can't make pull requests from into the into our upstream, into the community version. Basically, I have to refork this. Well, I guess I'm doing that now. Oh, and that'll be Eulertor Manim 1. I'd rather call it Manim Community or something like that. But I guess the name is temporary. And then, okay, how would this work? Here are my remotes. I have the Manim Community, I have the upstream, which is now useless. And there's my clone, which is also useless. I think what I have to do here is add the remote. Remote add I'll just call this Eulertor 1, I guess, and then copy this, or I think I want to do it with SSH. This ended up being fairly more complex than I expected. Fetch tags track. Okay, so let's try that. With that, I have the Eulertor 1. I'm going to try to push this. To OpenGL tags. Okay, that was not as bad as I expected. And now I should be able to compare these. Even though some of the history is repeated. And I think this is perfect. Space ops, small change. Added a bunch more imports. Relatively small changes here. Surprisingly small changes to SVG path as well. A lot of the data with the SVG objects, I was luckily able to reuse. OpenGL text object is enormous though. That'll take some work to either combine or just remove the old one. Align data. Oh, I didn't mean to add this scene though. Or this scene actually, so I'll take those out. OpenGL. By this, I can just remove. So OpenGL. By this, I can just remove. Simple enough. Basic.py, same thing. And I'll just undo the change to example code. Push that again. And that should update that automatically. Great, they're not updated anymore. Okay. So then now I can finish this. I can just put this up and see what it gets for review. Local changes up to date, PRs, okay. Add text objects to OpenGL. Title is descriptive, did that. Fixed last animations. Fixed last animations not running to completion. Oh, these are examples. Okay, change log. Just put added. I'm gonna say OpenGL compatible. Text objects. Text objects that work with the OpenGL render. It's fairly straightforward. Are these like the same? The only major code change is OpenGL text object. Because that one contains a lot of the logic just copied over, pretty much verbatim. Then all the inheritance information. Oh, and nice tech object too. Text object and tech object are mostly just copied. Then the inheritance information, luckily, I was able to incorporate into OpenGL SVG path object. And this OpenGL SVG object. Tech object and SVG path. Oh, I guess I added SVG objects too. I forgot I even did that. Add SVG objects. I think this should just be add. Whoops. And test an SVG objects that work with the OpenGL renderer fine. OpenGL text object.py. OpenGL SVG path.py. That mostly copied from the Cairo versions. Then these other two, SVG path and SVG object, Where'd that cursor go? GL, SVG, or SVG, OpenGL, SVG, path.py, and the other one have just enough information to allow reuse of our existing SVG/text logic. That was the other one. SVG path and